YouTube viewers, don't forget we encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. This is a show by the people, for the people, and you are my people. The more interaction we get, the better we like it. In today's program, the Patriots or the Chiefs? Who has the more dominant dynasty? Dave Portnoy weighs in. And Major League Baseball bans an umpire for gambling. We'll have all of that and a lot more in today's show, but we'll begin with Super Bowl week getting underway yesterday, and Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the league, addressing the conspiracy theories that continue to swirl around the National Football League. Do the Kansas City Chiefs get favorable treatment from the league via the referees? And we've heard it so many times. Patrick Mahomes, you can't look at him. There's going to be a flag. You can't breathe on him. There's going to be a flag. We got Patrick Mahomes out there flopping like LeBron, trying to draw flags. I don't ever remember in my childhood seeing Terry Bradshaw flopping and looking for a flag, but that's the era that we live in. I don't remember Roger Staubach doing it either. I do remember those guys getting killed on a weekly basis. I don't know how Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw, and a lot of their compatriots from that era are even still with us. Roger Goodell just suspended Mean Joe Green and Pizza Hut for this vicious hit on Roger Staubach. We used to celebrate those things. We know a little better now. CTE has dampened the enthusiasm for seeing guys get jacked up, but maybe we've overcorrected a little too much. All of these flags that are getting thrown, and it has led, at least, to the idea that Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are the preferred team of the National Football League. Roger Goodell said, come on, man.
I think it reflects a lot of the fans' passion. And I think it also is a reminder for us how important officiating is. And I think the men and women that officiate in the NFL are outstanding. They have the highest possible standard. That's a ridiculous theory for anyone who might take it seriously. But at the end of the day, it's something we always have to continue to work on. How do we make our officiating better at all times?
Goodell saying it's a ridiculous theory, and look, I'm going to be honest. I agree with him. Maybe I need to buy a tinfoil hat, but I don't think that the NFL is engaging in a conspiracy for the Kansas City Chiefs to win every game. There are those, however, who disagree with me enough that Goodell is actually standing there in front of the assembled media during Super Bowl week addressing the question. But if you're on social media, you see it all the time. And look, I'm not going to deny there have been a lot of critical moments where the Chiefs have gotten a call. But do I think that the NFL is engaged in rigging the league? No, I do not. But maybe Roger Goodell needs somebody to give him shit, keep him honest, like Jim McMahon used to do for Pete Rozelle back in the day. I wish that Jim McMahon had come along in our era, give Roger Goodell a little bit of hell. Tim is in my ear telling me that I should explain this tweet for the uninitiated. I fall into this trap of assuming that everybody's as fucking old as I am. You see that headband there? Jim McMahon, he used to wear the Adidas headband, and you can see he's got it. He's got the Adidas logo there around his neck. I think that's a headband he's wearing around his neck. But the league said, no, you can't wear the Adidas headband. Pete Rozelle, the commissioner at that time, the greatest commissioner in the history of the NFL, if you ask me. I believe he was also is he the first? But anyway, Rozelle says you can't do that. It's got a brand on it. And Jim McMahon responded by basically just figuratively giving him the double bird, taking out a black Sharpie and writing Rozelle on his headband and wearing that. Instead, the punky QB is still beloved here in Chicago for a lot of reasons. That Super Bowl and his attitude, the primary reasons that we love Jim McMahon. So, my friends, Roger Goodell's dealing with whole lot of questions for him to answer, and a lot of questions that are surrounding the league. And now for more on all the happenings at day one of Super Bowl week, we go to our man on the ground in New Orleans, the great Armando Salguero, of course, OutKick's senior NFL writer. Armando, how are you doing, my friend?
Well, Ricky, I would have preferred you say I'm in the air or in the ocean, but on the ground, I'll take it. What the heck?
Well, there you are. Hey, we're off and running. Roger Goodell giving his annual State of the League address yesterday. What were your takeaways from listening to the commish?
A lot of DEI, Ricky. Much DEI. A lot of officiating conspiracy theory talk. And mostly the NFL is great. NFL is great, Roger Goodell said.
Turns out it's great. Who knew? Thank you, Commissioner Goodell, for letting us know. Are we ever going to get an end to the conspiracy talk? Are the Chiefs going to have to get hit with a dozen penalties on Sunday to shut people up? When does the conspiracy theorization about the Kansas City Chiefs come to an end, Armando?
Yeah, I don't think it has to be to that extent, Ricky. I don't think that the Chiefs have to have a dozen penalties for 100 yards on Sunday or in any game. It has to be that for a couple of games in a row, we see the Kansas City Chiefs play in games where there are no issues, where there are no questions, where there is no controversy. If we see that, we'll start believing that, hey, this is a legit thing. And, Patrick Mahomes is not getting special treatment because he flopped, or the other team is not getting a first down because one side judge had one opinion and the other one had another opinion. The reason that we have these theories is because, for example, the Houston Texans, after they lost in the divisional round, made the point that you come to Kansas City, you're just not playing the Chiefs. You're playing other guys. And we know what they meant by other guys. The reason we have these theories is because, for example, Sean McDermott said after the game that he disagreed with a fourth down call against Josh Allen on a tush push. And then Brandon Beane, the general manager, the next day doubled down on that. So when you have actual people within the NFL, within opposing teams, saying that the Chiefs are getting calls, you're going to have a controversy.
Armando, are we going to get actual change from that situation there where Josh Allen was deemed to have come up short? A lot of people are saying, look, it's 2025. We're talking about going to Mars. You can watch the U.S. Open tennis tournament, and they'll show you exactly where the ball landed, whether it was on the line or not. Are we going to get something inside the football that's a little bit more precise than asking Bob to come over and, spot the ball where he thinks it seemed right by his gut?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that don't mind Bob coming over. But lately, the NFL has had Egbert come over to make sure that the spot is correct. And Egbert is nearsighted. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not really an official. He started officiating 5 minutes before the game started, and it was terrible. The NFL used GPS monitoring and chip monitoring in the preseason to measure first downs. And yesterday, Roger Goodell said that it continues to be complicated to get it right. And until they get it right, they can't really implement the technology. My thinking is you're not getting it right now. Bro, you're saying you need to get it right, but you're not getting it right by going with the human dudes. So I would think that the pressure will be on the league to do it as soon as possible. I can't guarantee you that it'll be 2025 season.
Well, Armando, look, I know that you're a busy man right now, getting all of the coverage for us at OutKick. I know you're about ready to go in. You're going to hear from the players, from the Chiefs and the Eagles today. What are you looking forward to ahead of you today here on Tuesday?
Yeah, so the Chiefs and the Eagles will make 9 players available today, including their head coach. And, we're just going to pepper them because onioning them is not good. So we're going to throw peppers at them. We're going to pepper them with questions. And so, look, it's always a fun day when Travis Kelsey talks. It's always a fun day when, Kermit the Frog, Patrick Mahomes talks. And so we're going to have a good time. And sullen Jalen Hurts will also be available. So we'll see how serious and somber he can be, because I guess that's his personality with the media. So forward we go.
All right. Well, I hope that you and Patrick Mahomes can find the rainbow connection today down there. Thank you, Armando. As always, my friend. Appreciate you. Go out there. You're doing the Lord's work, bringing us the news this week, my friend. Have a good one, and we'll see you down there in New Orleans this week.
Sounds good. Look forward to seeing you, Ricky.
What do you think the odds are that Andy Reid will heat up a lung dart on Sunday? That's what I want to know. I would just love it just one time. Maybe a coach who knows that this is the end. Matt Eberflus could have lit one up at some point during the season. What the fuck did he have to lose here in Chicago? I think if you had a coach who made that his signature, Red Auerbach used to light a cigar on the bench to celebrate and signify Celtics victories back when he coached the Celtics. We need an NFL coach who goes to flavor country as the clock is ticking down in the fourth quarter. And then when Roger Goodell complains, he can just say, "Find me, motherfucker." That would immediately become my favorite team. If we had a coach who had so few fucks to give. John Madden, the greatest. Was John Madden the best, man? God bless John Madden. There'll never be another. And speaking of people who may be imitated but cannot be duplicated, sorry, I'm speaking of the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, here we are, Tuesday of Super Bowl week. We're talking about the referees and the Kansas City Chiefs. Roger Goodell, the big question that he's fielding. Is the league rigged, sir? Is what they're asking him. What do you make of all this talk that we continue to see, the memes? I think most people who are talking about this don't really believe it. But if you look at the comments online, there is clearly some subsection, at least of vocal online NFL fans. I don't know what percentage of overall NFL fans that is, but there are some people, I think, who actually take this seriously.
I tend to be in your camp, Ricky. Listen, it's fun. It's fun to make the memes. It's fun to read the memes. It's fun to send the memes to your friends, and it's fun while you're watching the game to say, see, it's rigged. But anything's possible these days, but I think it's very, 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 very unlikely that it's being rigged. Now, the one thing I will say is I think that getting the benefit of the doubt is probably in play in these situations. Let's just take that Josh Allen play that everybody wants to talk about. Had he gone a foot or a yard or 2 yards over the line, the refs wouldn't have had to be in that position to, where should we put it? Is it here or is it here? So maybe the Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt in situations, but they're not getting blatant.
Ryan, look, I just said I don't believe in conspiracy theories in this instance. I'm not a big conspiracy theory person, period. Conspiracy theories are fun, but for the most part, I'm not a real conspiracy theory guy. But I will say this. Can you imagine a scenario where the exact same thing happened in that AFC Championship game, except it was Mahomes that had the ball, and it was the Chiefs who had 4th and 1? Do you see any scenario where that isn't spotted as a first down?
No,
Kind of
and
contradicting myself, but it's hard to imagine Mahomes not getting
I don't think
the benefit of the doubt
you're
there.
contradicting I don't think you're contradicting yourself. I think you're more falling in line with what I just said. I think the Chiefs get the benefit of doubts. Like when things are close, it goes the Chiefs' way. It's not like there's these egregious calls that are like, there's just no way that, like, they're just, it just feels this way because, again, maybe they've earned that benefit of the doubt, but they're not getting just absolutely, this is so blatantly like the ball is 2 feet over the line. Nope.
Well, it's like Greg Maddox got a little more room on the corner,
right?
And Ted Williams. There's an old story. I don't know if it's true or not, but there's an old story that there was a pitch that was, kind of on the borderline. The catcher thought it was a strike. Ted Williams was batting. And the catcher says to the umpire, after a couple of, I think there were a couple, where he's like, hey, wait, what's going on here? And he says to the umpire, like, you didn't think those were strikes? And the umpire says, son, Mr. Williams will let you know when it's a strike by doubling off the left field wall. So you do get a certain amount of. Jordan got calls that
I was just going to say Byron Russell,
regular
right?
Guys weren't going to get
the Byron Russell play. Like everybody else would have got called for an offensive foul, right? Jordan didn't. He earned the benefit of the doubt.
The reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year, the Browns franchise player. They thought that they were getting a franchise player in Deshaun Watson, but that certainly hasn't been the case. Myles Garrett is their franchise player, but maybe not for a lot longer, Ron. He has requested a trade after 8 seasons in Cleveland, citing as his primary reason a desire to win. And this guy is elite. 5 straight Pro Bowls, 4 career first-team All-Pro honors, which is way more impressive. All-Pro and Pro Bowl are not the same thing. Drake May is going to the Pro Bowl. All-Pro means your first-team All-NFL. That is the one that you really need to pay attention to. And Cleveland going 3-14 last year, even with Garrett leading the league in tackles for loss. Things not going in the right direction in Cleveland, and Myles Garrett is tapping out, Ron. He doesn't want any more of it. It worked for Bill Belichick. It worked getting out of Cleveland, did Bill Belichick wonders.
I mean, isn't getting out of Cleveland do wonders for most people?
I'm just saying. Here you go. Look at this starter ad, Ron. Belichick rocking the Browns gear back in the mid-90s. What do you need to be the best? Bill Belichick answering, everything you've got. But I had a different answer. Step 1 to be the best, get the hell out of Cleveland. I promise you, we wouldn't be talking about Bill Belichick as the greatest of all time had he stayed there. So Myles Garrett looking to follow the path that Bill Belichick blazed about 30 years ago that led him from Cleveland to a half a dozen Lombardi trophies in New England. Speaking of Lombardi trophies, the debate now that you're starting to hear, Kansas City now, Ron, this is their 5th Super Bowl appearance in 6 years. That's never been done before. And if they win, they're going to three-peat. That's never been done before. So they are getting into rarefied air here, and it is bringing up the inevitable question, who you got, the Kansas City Chiefs or the New England Patriots? Dave Portnoy weighed in.
Tom Brady has played Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs twice, once in Kansas City, beat his brains in twice. You just can't, that'll never change. So you go to the history books, Tom Brady 2-0 in the playoffs, won in the Super Bowl AFC championship on the road. Advantage Brady, better quarterback, no doubt, end the discussion. Who's the better coach? Well, the good news is Belichick and Andy Reid, 2 great coaches, they've met each other 3 times in the playoffs. All 3 times, Belichick beat him. Beat him in the Super Bowl when Andy Reid was the Eagles, and the Eagles puked all over themselves. Donovan McNabb literally puking. That's a reflection of Andy Reid puking. And then again, 2-0 against the Chiefs in the playoffs. So, including that AFC Championship. So, combined all, 5-0. The Patriots are 5-0. The Patriots dynasty led by Belichick, Brady, the two most important key components, 5-0 versus Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. So,
all right, Ron. So you heard Portnoy making the case for the Patriots. What do you think the relative merits here of the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty and the New England Patriots dynasty?
It's like everything else, man. Isn't it just so hard to try to compare? Like, yes, they played, but they played back then and they're not playing now. And I don't know. I mean, I guess it's great for shows like ours and for sports talk shows, but how about we just appreciate how great both of them are? I mean, you mentioned that this could be the first three-peat ever. I believe this is the first time any team has even had an opportunity for a three-peat, meaning win 2 Super Bowls, play in a third. So I don't know. I mean, today, if you ask me today, even if the Chiefs win on Sunday, I still think you go Patriots for longevity, but the Chiefs aren't very far behind. What do you think?
It's very close. As far as concentrating it together in a very short period of time,
Yep.
There's no question if Kansas City wins 3 Super Bowls in a row, Brady and Belichick never did that.
Right.
What they did, however, was maintain a level of being a perennial Super Bowl favorite threat, however you want to look at it,
Right.
for about 20 years. And that is something that I don't think Kansas City or anybody else is going to be able to sustain. And 6 is better than 4, even if Kansas City wins this one. So you can look at it either way. Do you like the greater, longer body of work, 6 over a couple of decades, or do you like 4 in 5 years, or whatever
Ricky,
it's going to be for Kansas City?
Let's just Bulls versus Celtics. Celtics had what, 11 and 12 years? Bulls had 6 and 7. Which one?
Celtics had 11 and 13, and the Bulls had 6 and 8. Yeah, 6 and 8, and one of those Jordan didn't play, and the other one he came back and he wasn't really ready. He was wearing number 45, and they got eliminated by Shaq.
But that's the same argument, right? Isn't it basically the same argument?
It's a very similar argument, certainly. I don't know, man. This Kansas City team, Portnoy was saying, they had this season where they only lost 1 game. They lost 2 games, but that 38-0.
Oh, you don't count. They would have won it. Yeah, they would have won it. Right.
They would have won it if they wanted to win it.
Correct.
But they did have a lot of close games. They do not feel like a 1-loss team to me.
No.
They feel like a 4-loss team. Really good team, obviously, but look, again, it's for them, all that matters is the playoffs. The regular season, beyond securing home field advantage, whatever, like these great teams, they dial it up at playoff time. We'll see what happens. But if they lose this game, I think the Patriots argument is a lot stronger because 6 is twice as many as 3.
Right.
And I think you got to go New England there. Let's go, speaking of going places, let's go to America's poll of the day, shall we? At Super 70 Sports on X, where the Eagle screeches in with...
I don't sing in the shower, so I don't really have an opinion of that. But
you don't have a song in your heart, Ron?
I don't. I mean,
shower, it's perfect singing time. Everybody sounds good in the shower themselves.
I am an in and out shower guy, man. I would just get in there, get out. That's what I do. No time for singing. I'm going to vote.
Bro. I like a nice, long, relaxing, hot shower. I'm looking for any excuse to stay in there.
Oh gosh, no, man. I'm in and out. Lori, every time she's like, how do you take a shower so fast? I'm like, I don't know.
Bro, showers are one of the great pleasures in life.
Mm.
You're missing out, man. Just allow yourself to just experience the pleasure.
I mean, I did have a timer on the shower when I was a kid because, hot water costs money. So maybe that's just still.
See, look at that. You're still carrying around that childhood burden, man. Deep down, subconsciously, the little boy is like, I must get out of the shower. See, this is cheaper than therapy, Ron. I won't even invoice you for this. You invoice me every month, though, you motherfucker. Hey, I wanted to say, it makes me think Aerosmith. Bailey, one time, years ago when she was little, she asked me, she said, did Steven Tyler always sound like a dying cat? When she was like about 11 or 12. And I thought about it for a second and I said, yes, honey, he's always sounded like that.
This is his thing. Ricky, I'm gonna go with good chicken parm as my vote. I think that's going to be up there at the top. I definitely don't think singing shower is going to compete for anything. Yeah, either the Bears or Aerosmith will come in second. That's what I think. But chicken parm.
Right, well, I'm gonna vote for the Bears personally. I think we should bring in producer Tim here. Get his input on this. It doesn't really, these days, it doesn't feel like an America's poll of the day until Tim shows up and weighs in on this. What are you thinking here as you look at these options, Tim?
Chicken parm is really a top flight, although I don't remember chicken parm as a kid that much. I feel like that's more of an adult thing. So curious where it lands on your audience. But look, for me, the 85 Bears, it was just really the advent of sort of, I think, popularizing culture and sport in the NFL. Friday night videos, the Super Bowl shuffle, Refrigerator Perry, Walter Payton. I mean, to me, there's very few teams from my childhood that are seared sort of in my memory. And I'm not a Chicago fan. It's hard to contend with that. I think it's going to be a runaway personally. Singing in the shower. I don't know. Two schools of thought there, but curious how we end up there. Aerosmith.
Well, what's your school of thought on it? Where do you land on the topic of singing in the shower? Because I'm on this. It's one of life's great joys to me. Ron doesn't even like showers apparently. So where do you fall on that continuum?
Yeah, it's been decades since I was singing in the shower. So in and out.
Maybe I have overestimated here.
Ricky, do you have a go-to? Ricky, do you have a go-to shower song?
Well, I tweeted one time, "Ride Like the Wind." The great Christopher Cross responded to it. So yeah, you sing the Christopher Cross part and you sing the Michael McDonald part. It's joyous. I highly recommend it.
Do you use the shampoo bottle or a bar of soap as a microphone?
I do not. I don't go that far. I do not hold, there's no type of props being used.
Now, do you dance? Do you sing and dance or just sing?
Well, Dan, you got to be careful dancing. You could slip and fall.
Well, more like an Axl Rose, like sway. Do you sway?
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome to the jungle. I'm going to shampoo my hair. I can do that. Shit, I'll do it right. I don't even need water, baby.
Conditioner or no conditioner?
So,
conditioner?
Oh, he has to do conditioner.
Dude, yeah, I have to do conditioner. Took me a long time to figure out how to do conditioner appropriately, though, because I never used conditioner. People have to realize I've only had this hair since COVID. I just, like everybody else, I wasn't getting my hair cut. I was stuck in the house. I grew my hair out, and then I was just one of the people who decided, I think I like this better. I'm going to keep it. But for most of my life, I had short hair. I never used conditioner. But I used to put the conditioner in, like, just through all of my hair. And that has, like, a very bad effect. And I did that one day when I was appearing on Against All Odds with Cousin Sal. and the video is out there somewhere on YouTube. I'm getting interviewed by Cousin Sal, and I'm having like the worst fucking hair day in the history of humanity, and it's because I had doused my head in conditioner because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And it's like every time I see that video come up somewhere, I'm like, oh yeah, that was back when I was having my learning curve about how conditioner works. You just got to do it like at the ends of your hair. But you guys don't have ends of your hair, so you don't have to worry about it. Your wives would know, is what I'm saying. I'm sure that everybody is enthralled with my I need to just have a product place. It's like, that's why I use Prel, everybody. OutKick's preferred conditioner.
Gee, your hair smells terrific.
Talking way too fucking much about conditioner for somebody that's not getting paid to do it. All right, well, I'm voting 85 Bears. Tim, are you going Bears? Did you say?
Going Bears. Going Bears.
All right,
And
I'm chicken
Ron,
parm. I'm chicken parm.
You're going chicken parm? All right, let's light the candle. Probably not a good sign that the one guy who likes to sing in the shower didn't vote for it. Well, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan.
I was going to say, what would singing?
Well,
what would singing Chaka Khan in the shower get? Like 2%?
2%. Yeah, singing "I Feel for You" in the shower. Not even Rufus wanted to have any part of that. Chicken Parmesan narrow over the Chicago Bears. Jared's going to have to keep an eye on this one because it could go late into the night and into the morning. These are all set for 24 hours. So we'll find out. But that's going to be close. Aerosmith, respectable, 18%. And I want to meet the motherfuckers that want to sing in the shower because those are my people.
Chicken parm?
They're 6.5%. 6.5% of people are like, you can keep the chicken parm. Walter Payton
that's like
and
400.
Jim McMahon were great.
That's like 400 people.
Sweet Emotion. Yeah, nice math, Ron. Yeah.
Look
well
at the picture
people.
behind.
I mean,
look at the picture behind
people.
Tim.
300
Look at this picture.
Oh my God. Yes, that's it. Look at that hair.
Amazing.
Look at that hair. Somebody commented and said, shampoo is something that you should use. And I remember just being aghast because like I had just shampooed and conditioned my hair like an hour before that. And there you go. You know, the only thing that's amazing about that picture is that I'm indoors because I 100% look like I'm homeless there. I know there are people who say that I look like I'm homeless even on a good day, but even I have to acknowledge the homeless man vibes. That I believe that title of that podcast with Cousin Sal was "Brother, Can You Spare a Dime?" with Ricky Cobb.
Good time.
For more conditioner because I have to put all of it on my head.
We also got the Bears Super Bowl shuffle for you later on, but we'll move on here.
Oh, nice.
Oh wait,
well,
Tim,
let's make sure.
Tim, if you move up just a little bit, it looks like you have all that hair. If you there, stop.
There you go.
Stop right there.
There you. There you go.
I just gave myself a haircut too.
See?
At 4 in the morning. I'm particularly shining.
Just getting entirely in front of it. This is what I get for bringing up the worst hair day that I've had this decade. I'm glad that everybody can relive it with me. Why are you guys thinking the NBA, all the Luka stuff? I was watching Bill Simmons' podcast on YouTube last night, getting his take on it. And he, like everybody else, NBA super fan that he is, was shocked by it. Maybe we're not done being shocked. If you can believe some of the things that are being said, Ron, they're saying that there's some discussion that LeBron and KD could join Steph Curry and Draymond Green with the Golden State Warriors. Look at this, Ron. NBA Central on X saying several people within the Warriors front office have dreams of LeBron, KD, and Steph teaming up. Sources say the most ambitious idea being tossed around among Golden State decision makers is there any feasible pathway to pull off the dreamiest of outcomes and find a way to bring both LeBron and KD to the Bay? And the one thing that I will say, Ron, before you respond, is that Kevin Durant definitely has a hard on at that thought. Because that's the front-runningest motherfucker in the history of the NBA. He never met a stacked deck that he didn't want to jump in and be a part of. Right now, Luka is certainly a good long-term move for the Lakers, but in the short term, their roster is not really constructed optimally to make any kind of run in the playoffs. LeBron, time is ticking, and LeBron has already indicated in the past, we've seen it in the past, that LeBron ain't too proud to go to a situation that he thinks is going to be the path of least resistance. We saw him do it when he went to Miami at age 40. Could I see LeBron James say, hey, let me join up with a couple more all-time greats and see if I can't grab one real quick on the way out, get number 5? I don't know if it'll happen as this has been laid out. It's probably a long shot, frankly. But could I see LeBron going somewhere and trying to be part of a super team for a year or two? I don't know. There might be a decent chance of that.
This is almost part of the argument of like who's better, MJ or LeBron. Man, MJ would never do that. Could you imagine Michael Jordan?
Never.
Never.
And would never let his fucking kid play on the team either.
But
you know, Michael Jordan he wasn't going to be doing that sort of make-a-wish shit with his very limited NBA talent son. Can you imagine Jordan if his kid was like, hey, Dad, I'd like to play with you? Michael would be like, fuck you. Go away. I got to go gamble and win championships.
But
play golf. That's all he cared about.
I mean, I think Michael would just feel like it's a hollow nothing championship. Like this isn't a championship. Championships.
Look, KD won 2 in Golden State, and I think he was the Finals MVP one or both of those times. Somebody can fact check me on that. I think he was at least once. He's an all-time great player. There's no question about it. Kevin Durant is probably a top 25, top 30 player in the history of the NBA. But I will never forget, and Tim confirms that he was, in fact, the Finals MVP twice. But he left Oklahoma City, a team that was, as I remember it, the primary rival of the Golden State Warriors at that time in the Western Conference, almost eliminated them in the playoffs. The year that they went 73-9, unless I'm mistaken, the Thunder had them down.
They did.
And I'm just making shit up here, Ron.
I think they did. No, I think they did.
Or 3-2. Yeah. And they 3-1. They had them down 3-1 in the Western Conference playoffs. The year that the Warriors lost 9 fucking games in the regular season. They came that close to taking them down. Then, of course, the Warriors, that was the year that they lost to LeBron. That's LeBron's greatest moment. The block shot and the one that he won in Cleveland. That redeemed him somewhat because he went and got that one and he did it the right way. But Kevin Durant was all too glad to go and join forces with a 73-9 team. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's like going to an overstocked catfish pay lake in rural Kentucky. Umpire Pat Hoberg, Ron, has been banned by Major League Baseball for sharing a sports betting account with his friend who happens to be a professional poker player. Pat Hoberg fired by MLB after an investigation revealed that he shared this account and that his friend was making bets on Major League Baseball games from the account, including some games that Hoberg was umpiring. There is no direct evidence, according to Major League Baseball, that Hoberg did anything to alter the outcome of any games, but there were some messages that were deleted between he and his friend that they were unable to recover, but that looked questionable. that they would be deleting messages. Hoberg saying that he deleted them because he was embarrassed by the amount of sports betting that he was doing on the app, but he maintains that he didn't do anything unethical. This guy was considered by many to be the best balls and strikes umpire in the entire game. Ron, and now at age 38, banned from Major League Baseball.
So he was using his friend's account, or his friend was using his account?
He was sharing his friend's account. Apparently, his friend lived in Iowa where sports betting was legal. As I understand it, Hoberg lived in a state that didn't have it. And so somehow or another, he was using his friend's login information so that he could make bets from outside of the state. I don't know exactly how you work that, but that was what was happening as I understand it.
Yeah, I mean, he just has to know better. Like, doesn't matter whether he was doing anything wrong or not. Like, you have to know better. You have a certain job, and that's just something you just do not do. You don't even get close to. You don't even let anybody have like a semblance of, is he doing? No, you just stay the hell away from it.
Simple as that. I mean, you know, maybe the guy's got a gambling addiction. We saw what it did. Pete Rose was a gambling addict. And maybe this guy is too. But think about that. You have this job. The guy's been working high-profile games. Like I say, not even 40 years old yet. He had a game where he called 129 for 129 correct balls and strikes, which is as good as it gets. You know, you can't be
100%.
better than perfect. And now he's going to have to find something else to do. He can apply for reinstatement after a year, but of course that was the same deal that Pete Rose had. You can apply for reinstatement. That doesn't mean a damn thing. I think the thing that's interesting about it, Ron, is that this isn't a bigger story. Because if this story had been 30 or 40 years ago, it would have been the biggest story in sports. But now it's just like, oh well, you know, it's like the 7th story down on ESPN.com.
Well,
And
I think
that it should be a bigger story. We're becoming desensitized to the effect that gambling could have on the authenticity of what we're watching in any of these sports. Players, umpires, whatever. You know, it's become mainstream so fast. I think it's silly to pretend that there can't be nasty little surprises like this that could come up from time to time in the new modern gambling culture that we have.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. I mean, there has to be shady stuff going on all the time in every sport, right? Like, it could be as simple as, what was it, that player for the Toronto Raptors that, you know, that would bet on, you know, his over-unders on certain things. And, you know, maybe it might not be big and, you know, big wide scale stuff, but it's got to be going on constantly, right? Like, even
you
if
would
it's
think it's the nasty little thing that goes with gambling money taking over everything in sports. We all
wonder
want
how
to
they found
pretend
this
that
out,
that's
though.
not happening.
Do we
wants
know?
to think about it.
Do we know how they even discovered this? Like, how did this even come to light that this guy was doing this?
He had started his own gambling account somewhere else, and somehow or another, Major League Baseball, they launched an investigation and were able to connect him back to this somehow through their investigation. So, yeah. Apparently they saw some red flags somewhere and they went digging, and then they
you know what?
this.
They can't be too careful. They had to do what they had to do. Like, even if he didn't do it, and even if there was no evidence, they had to do what they did.
Well, after everything that they've said about Pete Rose still can't, he's dead now. He still can't catch a break. And so, yeah, if you've got an umpire who's doing anything that looks like he's gambling on baseball or possibly could have, that's, you got to do what they did.